Hello, hello. This is Sabrina Amina, and this is the Feelings Pod. Today's episode is about questioning our thoughts and doing the work with Byron Katie. Byron Katie's work has come into my life recently at exactly the moment it was meant to. And I've been learning a lot about how to navigate difficult emotions by questioning the thoughts that bring about those difficult emotions. And her methods are deceptively simple, and usually these are practices that we do when we're having difficulty or challenges with the folks that we're in relationship with. And it illuminates really the challenges we have with ourselves. So if we can imagine that every person who comes into our life is a mirror for ourselves, everyone becomes your teacher. Everyone becomes someone that you can learn from. And what are we learning? We're learning a little bit more about ourselves through the mirror that is held up in these relationships, reflecting ourselves back to us. Now, I'm gonna just give a simple example. Today I had a challenging thought during a transition, and I thought I was visiting my mom's home and getting ready to leave after a really nice afternoon spending time with my siblings and my parents and my niece and nephew. And I had seen my brother, who I hadn't seen for a really long time, and I was so happy to see him. And then it was time for him to leave. Goodbyes are so challenging for me. It's so hard for me to part ways with the people that I love. And so I've always felt a little lost, because whenever I've had to leave a loved one, or a loved one left me, I'd experience it as a loss, as a loss of love, really. But through this work of inquiry, I'm understanding that this experience is more of a loss of myself. I lose myself so much in these connections, in these relationships, because I have this false belief, this false thought that when the person I love is no longer present, physically present with me, the love is no longer there. And so the process of inquiry really gets you to question these thoughts. And it might seem very obvious, but just because you're not with the person that you love doesn't mean that the love is no longer there. Even when it seems as though a person leaves for good, that love doesn't go anywhere, really. The love is still alive. Love is this mysterious phenomenon that is not bound by constraints like time and space. And so it still brings up challenge for me to say goodbye to someone, but what helps is questioning the thought, he doesn't love me because he left. So you ask yourself, is that true? Is it true that he doesn't love me because he left? Well, no. And then the next question that she asks is, who would I be without the thought, he doesn't love me when he leaves? Well, without that thought, I get to return to love. I get to experience love. I get to know that love is here and love is present, regardless of who's coming or going. And then I think one of the most profound parts of the work is turning these statements around. He doesn't love me. And changing that statement to kind of its opposite, basically. So, for example, instead of he doesn't love me, the statement becomes I don't love me. And we explore if the new statement is true and perhaps even truer than the initial statement. So, yes, when I imagine that love is gone, I'm not really loving myself. Another way to turn it around is I don't love him. Is that true or even truer than the original statement? Well, of course, I'm doubting the love that exists and assuming that this person's love is so frail that it can only exist when we're standing right in front of each other. This process of inquiry is so amusing because it illuminates the insanity of a lot of our thoughts, of the way that we think. And I really find this work so profound and meaningful, and so much so that I decided to jump back into recording my podcasts. I'm so grateful to Byron Katie for this body of work. And I'm also grateful to another teacher of mine, Luis Mojica, who I think first put Byron Katie's work on my radar. Lately I've been, in the past, I think several years actually, perhaps even all my life, I've struggled with this fear of this loss of love. And this process of inquiry has really given me a beautiful gift. And if you are feeling a bit unsettled or constantly find yourself agitated by troubling thoughts, I really encourage you to look into Byron Katie's work. and see if it resonates and give it a try for yourself. So yeah, just a short little episode today. I wanted to jump back into sharing on my podcast, and thank you so much for listening. Let's get into a short breathing practice for today. Find a comfortable position if you can at the moment. If not, you can simply pause and come back to this later. Close your eyes and start to tune into your breath. Notice the inhale. Notice the inhale as it fills your lungs and your belly. And let it go. And perhaps as you take your next inhale, you can visualize breathing in love, breathing in the abundance of love that surrounds you all day, every day. We can even imagine the abundance of air around us as love. What a loving and benevolent world that we live in, where our needs are taken care of without even having to think twice about it. So breathe in that love. Take it into your entire body, being, spirit, mind, soul, and let it go. And knowing that as we breathe in the love and we let it go through the breath, we can trust that that love always returns to us without having to grasp so desperately. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Breathe in love. Exhale love. Breathe in love. And exhale love. Feel free to continue this practice for the next several moments, allowing love to freely flow in through your breath and flow out through your breath. Thank you so much for practicing with me.